Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a microscopic journey into one of the most highly efficient water treatment plants on the planet. And the craziest part? It's operating right inside your own body. We are, of course, talking about the human kidney. Let's jump right in. So think about this for a second. How does your body filter toxic waste from your blood every single minute without you even having to think about it? It's a pretty compelling question, right? Because if this internal system were to fail for even a short time, the toxic byproducts of our own metabolism would build up to literally lethal levels. The stakes of our internal biology are incredibly high. Okay, let's look at the sheer scale of this. The volume of work your kidneys do is just staggering. We're talking 1.2 liters. About 1.2 liters of blood flow through both of your kidneys every single minute. That actually means your kidneys receive around 20% of all the blood pumped by your heart with each and every beat. They are just relentlessly purifying your system, second by second. Now, how exactly do they handle that massive volume? Well, it's all about strength in numbers, specifically 1 million. Each human kidney achieves this monumental task using about 1 million microscopic filtering factories. We call these tiny, complex structures nephrons. They're the basic functional and structural units making up the whole organ. If we zoom in from the macroscopic, bean-shaped kidney you're probably used to seeing, we find this incredibly complex, microscopic tubing of the nephron. Just look at that intricate network. It starts at the renal corpuscle, which kind of looks like a little cup, and then twists all the way down through these loops and convoluted tubules, finally ending up at the collecting duct. Now, I know that is a lot of complex anatomical terminology to take in all at once, so let's use a quick memory trick. Here's a simple, punchy mnemonic device to help anchor these physical structures in your mind as we trace the fluid's path. Ready? Good blood passes, leaving dirty chemicals. That stands for glomerulus, Bowman's capsule, proximal tubule, loop of Henle, distal tubule, and finally, the collecting duct. Definitely keep that one in your back pocket. Now, it's worth noting that not all nephrons are exactly the same, because our bodies are incredibly adaptive. We have cortical nephrons, which actually make up the vast majority, about 70 to 80% of them. They sit higher up in the kidney's cortex, they have shorter loops, and they handle our baseline normal blood volume. But then we have the juxtamedullary nephrons. These make up the remaining 20 to 30%, and they have these incredibly long loops that plunge deep down into the kidney's medulla. These are basically the heavy lifters. They kick into high gear to concentrate your urine and save water when you're dehydrated. So the crucial part here is understanding exactly how these nephrons actually do the filtering. And it all happens in an overarching three-part framework. First, we have ultrafiltration. Second, selective reabsorption. And third, tubular secretion. If you want another handy mnemonic so you can see the whole journey before we break it down, just remember UST. Urine starts there. Ultrafiltration, selective reabsorption, tubular secretion. Step 1 is ultrafiltration. This is filtration under pressure. This is the very first phase of our microscopic journey, right at the start of the nephron, where the raw filtering of your blood actually gets going. Notice the blood vessels inside Bowman's capsule. Blood comes in through the efferent arteriole, but the exit tube, the efferent arteriole, is actually half the diameter. It creates this massive pressure cooker effect inside that ball of capillaries, which we call the glomerulus. And because the exit is so narrow, that high blood pressure literally forces about 20% of the blood plasma straight out of the vessels and into the capsule, creating what's known as the glomerular filtrate. But here is where things get truly wild. That pressure cooker creates about 125 milliliters of raw filtrate every single minute. If you do the math on that, it equals 180 liters of fluid squeezed out of your blood every single day. That's literally equivalent to dozens of large soda bottles. Obviously, you don't pee out 180 liters a day. If you did, you'd dehydrate instantly. So the body has to figure out a way to get most of that fluid back. Which brings us to step 2, selective reabsorption, taking back the essential nutrients. That initial ultrafiltration we just talked about, it's kind of like dumping your entire purse out on the table just to find one piece of trash. Now, the rescue mission has to begin. Tracing the path out of Bowman's capsule and into the proximal convoluted tubule, we see exactly where the body aggressively sorts through that pile. Over 80% of the crucial stuff, we're talking all of your glucose, amino acids, vitamins, hormones, and most of your water and salt, is immediately and actively reabsorbed right here. It's an incredibly efficient recovery operation. Next up, the fluid travels down into the loop of Henle. That's that long U-shaped plunge we mentioned earlier.
The real wonder of this loop is how its descending and ascending limbs work in perfect tandem. The ascending limb actively pumps out salts but actually traps water inside. This creates a highly concentrated salty environment in the surrounding kidney tissue, and that allows the descending limb, which is permeable to water, to let water get sucked right back into the body through osmosis. It's known as a countercurrent multiplier system, and it is an absolute marvel of natural engineering that keeps you hydrated.
And finally, step 3, tubular secretion, the final active purge.
So the body has rescued the good stuff, but now it needs to actively purge the stubborn waste that didn't leave the blood during that first step. The cells lining the distal tubules actually target specific materials. They actively transport them out of the surrounding blood capillaries and dump them directly into the remaining fluid. This includes hydrogen ions, which, by the way, is exactly how your kidney perfectly balances your blood pH. It also includes excess potassium ions, naturally occurring poisons from your own metabolism, and foreign chemicals like certain drugs and antibiotics.
At the very end of the line, the remaining fluid enters the collecting ducts. Here, your brain actually has the final say, using a chemical messenger called ADH, or antidiuretic hormone. If your brain senses you're dehydrated, it releases ADH. This effectively opens up tiny water channels in the collecting ducts, pulling the very last drops of water back into your body, which leaves you with highly concentrated urine. On the flip side, if you've drank plenty of water, ADH shuts off, those channels close, and you excrete a larger volume of dilute urine.
And that brilliantly brings everything together. The excretory journey of the nephron is really a flawless 3-step dance. Ultrafiltration uses high pressure to squeeze out the raw filtrate. Selective reabsorption rapidly rescues the water and vital nutrients your body needs to survive. And tubular secretion pumps out the final stubborn toxins. Remember, UST, urine starts there. It really is a miraculous system hiding in plain sight inside all of us.
Your kidneys never stop working for you. They're cleaning your blood 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, filtering out danger and preserving your life. But it really begs a fascinating question. If this 1 million part microscopic factory is this incredibly vital and complex, how close are we to actually being able to fully replicate it artificially when it fails? It's something to think about. Keep exploring these incredible topics. If you found this explainer helpful, please hit that subscribe button to keep feeding your brain. Thanks for joining me on this microscopic journey, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.